Happy 4th of July, everyone. I'm recording this Tuesday afternoon to get this out to you tonight for, our normal Tuesday spot for chasing ghosts. So, this might be a little weird, might be a little quick. I don't know. Plus, we got an announcement to do for the last week's giveaway. So make sure you just hang on for a few seconds as we get into that. But yeah, like I said, it's been a busy couple of days, but I still wanted to make time for you guys and make this show for you. This is going to be another Cap kind of special because it's 4th of July. It's got me thinking about Captain America. So AOA is going to be happy as I've got more Cap books to talk about. But in this case, some harder to find, higher ratio type stuff. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel as we are on our way to 3K. And yeah, I guess we should probably start off with the giveaway because I just want to get that out of the way. So all I did last week, I did our 100th episode, and with that, I asked you to tell me your favorite 1 in 100 incentive variant in the comment section. Everybody who followed those simple instructions got entered on the wheel that I have right over here. So everybody's name in the comments is right here. I'm going to mix it up first, and then I'm going to spin the wheel, and then whoever wins, I'll mail you that 1 in 100 Spider-Man book that I got around here somewhere. I don't know where I put it, but it's here somewhere. It's a 1 in 100 Ascended for Amazing Spider-Man 23. It's one of those Alex Ross sketch covers. I think it's Mysterio on the cover of that one. So that's what I'm going to mail whoever is the winner. All I'm going to ask you to do is, if you are the winner, you can either hit me up on IG with a little simple DM, little message. Do I have a little thing here for that? Well, I guess not. Well, it's Rennavision. So hit me up on IG at Rennavision. If not, you can always mention something in the comments down below this video, and I'll give you the email that you can email. I don't want to give you the emails outright because I barely check the channel email. I just don't because, I don't really do much with it. So it's only when we do giveaways like this do I have to check for it. So if you do need an email and you don't have IG, just mention it in the comments down below after the video is done. So with that, yeah, let's just get to it. So here, like I said, here's everybody who made the comments. I'm going to make it bigger so you guys can see it a little clearer. Everybody's name here, from Spider Guy Murph to Sarah to Patrick, AOA. Everybody's on the board here. Ruben, I think, is in here. Even Lopez is in here. But all those who made a comment, you're all in there. I got 28 entries, and we're going to mix it up a few times. So let's just shuffle it up here. As you can see, I don't know who's going to win. I'm just going to shuffle this up, randomize it a bit. And then, yeah. And then we can go full screen, so we don't need to see the list of names anymore. You guys are all still right there. And let's see who's going to win this 1 in 100. And let's roll. I also got the next screen up so we can see what their book was once we find out who the winner is. And it looks like it's going to be, is it Murph? Spidey Guy Murph. He's won before, but hey, I have no problems if you guys win again. You guys are loyal to the channel. You watch the stuff. You take part in the giveaways. You get a chance to win. So, Spidey Guy Murph, congrats. I think I probably still have your info, but still hit me up with a message so I can get that book to you. But just for fun, let me go over to the other screen. Let's see what Spidey Guy Murph had picked. He is right here. I think that Spider-Man 1 is my favorite. Can't go wrong with both Peter and Miles on the same cover. All right, looks like he picked one of the ones that was on the show. You didn't have to pick one from the show. You could have picked anything you wanted, but a few of you did pick from that show, which is fine. It doesn't matter. It was just a means to get your guys' names in on a wheel so I can give away something to somebody. But with that, congrats, Spidey Guy Murph. And like I said, hit me up. I'll double check with it, my message with you to see if I still got the right address, and I'll get that book on over to you. But with that all said, let's go back to the regularly scheduled programming, which is going to be our episode of Chasing Ghosts. Like I said, I got a bunch of Cap books for you, and hopefully you enjoy that. So just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. All right, so like I said, this might be considered another AOA special because I got a bunch of Cap books for you. Captain America is at the forefront of the mind today. I couldn't find my clean Captain America t-shirt, so you're stuck with the Police Academy instead. But with that said, let's look at our first book, which is awesome Jim Lee cover. So Captain America, number 700. They went back to the legacy numbering for a little while because 700 was coming. I think they went back to it at 695, ran on those few issues so they could give us Captain America 700. And this awesome Jim Lee cover is not new art. As you know, Marvel likes to reuse stuff from the interiors of their classic runs, so this way they can get themselves some Jim Lee covers, some Tom McFarlane covers, and call them like hidden gem variants, whatever they call them, and double dip on the art that they have, I guess, in their libraries. This particular image, if you did not know, comes from a book we talked about yesterday, which is Uncanny 268. This is the first splash page inside that book. So this throwback Jim Lee issue with Chris Claremont with Cap, Wolvie, and Black Widow, that first page splash is what they reused for the art on this, what was it, 1 in 500? This is a 1 in 500 incentive cover. Oh, didn't even get to that part yet, but that's what this is. This is an incentive cover. This is a 1 in 500 incentive cover by Jim Lee from April of 2018. Yes, 1 in 500. That's a big number. And that's what Marvel was doing at the time. We had all those Venom McFarlanes. You remember those? We had some Wolverines, like they did the same. And yeah, they don't seem to be doing it lately. Well, I guess they kind of are, but they're doing it with older. I don't know. I guess they kind of are, because I was just going to say there's that George Perez cover they have on that Thor annual that was on the watch list. But that all said, this book, 700, issue 700, had a decent print run, about 77,000 plus. But if you do that math of a 1 in 500, that would mean there's only potentially 155 copies of this. I don't know if that's true. Again, these are estimates based off of the information that's out there. So this is the Comic-Con estimate for the print run, and you do that incentive math, which would break it down to 155. Does that mean the Marvel only printed 155 copies of these? I don't think that's true. It's probably more than that. But I can't say positively one way or the other what's true. I'm just giving you the numbers and telling you where the numbers come from. You tell me what you think. But when we look at this book in the census that could potentially only have 155 of them, let's see, we do have 66 in the CGC census. We have 49 9/8s, 8 9/6s, and then a few others. And then if we look at how this book moves, are these the same copies trading hands? I don't know. But this book is a few years old now. What was it, 2018? It's 5 years old at this point. But in the last 3 months, we have at least these 5. These are the last 5 sales. I think there were more. I didn't want to, stretch the deck. Good enough to give you a sense of what we're talking about here. But a 1 in 500 incentive is only selling for $77 with 12 bids, $120 buy it now. It's packaged with our next book, which is an even higher ratio incentive, the sketch version of it. Best offer on $195. Didn't bother to get the accepted amount. $74 with 15 bids. And then it looks like a 9/8 of a 1 in 500 incentive. 9 bids, $238. Makes me feel like this isn't as hard to find as you might think. Not to say it's not hard to find, but not only 155 copies out there kind of hard to find. Because if you do want one, I got at least 4 for you. $120, $113, $600 SS98, and $1,000 raw. Okay, I don't know. That one might be a little bit of an outlier. There's 11 watchers, mostly because I think they just want to see if it actually sells. But those cheaper copies for $120 and $113 also have 9 and 19 watchers. So people are looking at this book, but not actually making a move on it. But there are copies if you want one. So moving on, that's the 1 in 500 incentive. But they did give us the sketch version. I'm not a huge fan of the sketches. Some exceptions do apply because I do like Jim Lee's art, so I don't mind a Jim Lee sketch. But honestly, I still prefer the color. If I was going to decide between these two, incentive ratios and rarity aside, I'd still go with the color version. If I were to pick the cover, I prefer. But this is a 1 in 1,000. Same book, same month, April 2018, same estimated print run. But if it's a 1 in 1,000, that would mean there's only 77 of these. Because again, 77,000. 1 in 1,000 would give you 77. It's not hard math to do. Is that right? Is that reality? I don't know. I doubt it. I don't think they would run the printers for something that small. But hey, who knows? What we do know is there's 48 in the CGC census. So, I mean, I guess it's possible that almost every 1 in 1,000 has been graded, right? I mean, it makes sense. If we got a 1 in 1,000, I'd probably get it graded just so, unless it was like beat up, I would automatically get it graded. And with that, there are 39 eights, 12 9/6s, and then a few others, rounding out that 48 number. Copies do actually sell for this book. Not as high as you might think. Look, $114 or 13 bids for a 1 in 1,000. So that's a tenth of the ratio. I know we talk about ratio all the time. So if it's 1 in 1,000, ratio price would be $1,000. Seems a bit extreme, but people don't think it's extreme when it's a 1 in 25 and they charge you $25. They go, okay, that makes sense. Just saying, $114. Ain't that much for something that's may have only 77 copies. There's that pair that I sold before with the 1 in 500 that was on the last deck. And then we have a 9/8, $600 graded, and then another 19 bids up to $163.50. By and large, still well below ratio. And if you wanted to buy one, well, you got options. You do have options. More than these four. I found more than four out there, but here are the four I decided to share with you. A few 9/8s looking for $440, $600, and almost $1,000 for the 9/8s. 401 and 1,000. Interesting prices. And then there's a raw, and there was a couple of more raws right around that $300, $350 price as well. But 3 watchers on that raw one. Copies if you want them. So we're going to move on to our next book. Stick it with Cap. But we're going to go to Sam Wilson's Captain America. Yes, Sam Wilson, Captain America, #1, when he took over the title for himself. This is a 1 in 50 incentive by John Cassidy, October 2015. So again, this one's also years ago, even before that last book. But this one had a print run of about 62,000 thereabouts. So our 1 in 50 incentive is going to give us about 1,250 copies potentially of this book. Again, don't take that as gospel. It's not set in stone. It's best information we have. But with that, let's see what's in the census. We only got 14. So with over 1,200 copies, only 14 graded. Interesting. 5 9/8s, 6 9/6s, 2 9/4s, and then it looks like a 8/5. So not a lot in the census there, nor have any sold within the last 3 months. So I got 0 sales on this particular cover, this particular book, the last 3 months. But if you did want to buy one, you got a couple of options. 3 in particular, $25, $25, and $50. So 2 at half ratio, 1 at ratio. So doesn't seem like there's a huge demand or a lot of movement on this book, but I think this might change as we start getting closer to the new Cap movie. Because remember, Sam is Cap in the next movie, Brave New World. So some of his covers and some of these incentive variants may start moving as we start getting closer. I know everybody's down on the MCU right now. They're shooting holes and look how bad Secret Invasion is doing and the ratings and all that stuff. I get it. It could be a bit superhero fatigue, but people will still go back to it. And people still start buying comics again for these same reasons that they have for years. It's just in our nature to do so. So as we get closer, I will not be surprised to start seeing these things start selling for a bit more than they are right now. It's just I don't think that's going out on a limb there to say that that's probably what's going to happen. Will it happen? I can't say for certain. It's still a gamble, but that's probably going to be the play as things get closer to that next movie. But with a writer's strike, we might have some more delays. So just patience. You're going to be patient. That's issue 1. We can go on to issue 2, which brings it down to only a 1 in 25. Still a pretty cool Cap cover. You got the eagle in the background. You got the Red Skull back there. Some pretty cool images in the insignia, the shield logo kind of behind him. It's pretty cool. But this one's only a 1 in 25. So this is an Evan Shaner cover, also from October of 2015. So they double shipped that month. But this is only 1 in 25. So despite the fact that the print run did go down to only 40,000, the incentive goes up a bit to 1,600 because it's only 1 in 25 instead of 150. So easier to qualify for this one. So there are potentially more copies out there. However, in the census, there are still only 2. 2 copies graded. We've got a 9/6 and a 9/2. And the 9/6 is a blue label. The 9/2 is a signature series. And that is all she wrote for the CGC census on this book. Kind of surprised by that. So that first 980 is out there somewhere. Nobody bought it recently, though, because no copies have sold within the last 3 months. But if you did want to take a shot at that first 9.8, you have three options potentially there, and they are all right around ratio: $20, $25, and $25. Not terrible pricing. Pretty cool cover. I'm still cheap though, so I still want it like 10 or 15. But that's just me. But you guys, you can do what you like with your money. I'm like I said, I'm just cheap. I can't buy everything. But that's more where I'd be a buyer, just because I don't have a large need for more and more Cap books. I think I got plenty. But for you Cap fans and you Sam Wilson fans out there, this is one A. For that price, you might want to consider it. That's all. But the big one for his run on that title is probably this third issue, because this is the first Joaquin Torres, who eventually becomes the new Falcon, first appears here in this issue 3. So the regular cover for issue 3 is probably the one that has the man Cap Wolf or whatever on the cover. Pretty cool cover. That one's gone up and down. It's hit the spec cycle a couple of times, so that one's price is already up there. But along with the prices of that one, this is the 1 in 25 incentive by Steve Epting, November 2015. This one has gotten pricey and kind of stayed up there. So looking at the numbers, just under 34,000. So our incentive is still a healthy 1,300 potential copies on this 1 in 25. But we only got 29 in the census. It's still a lot, considering we just had 2 for the last one. 2 for issue 2, but 29 for issue 3. 11 9/8s, 12 9/6s, and then a few others. But that is, again, because of the first appearance inside of Joaquin Torres. But this is the variant. No copies have sold the last 3 months on this book either. So much like the last couple of books, no movement on this book as of yet. But at the same time, doesn't look like there's a lot of copies for people to buy, as I only found one. Only found one for this one, and it's $400 raw. So healthy asking price on this one. But hey, if you want to play, there's your cost. They do accept best offers, so take your best shot if you are interested in a book like this. For me, that's way outside of my price range, but I do dig this cover. This is a really nice cover, but it has nothing to do with the first appearance inside, but it is a pretty cool cover if you ask me. So I do like it. If this were more affordable, I'd be a buyer, but I can't be playing at these prices. So with that, stick it with this series. Stick it with Sam. We're going to go to issue 7, which actually features an Alex Ross homage to, that Cap book, Cap 1. But while Sam is on the regular edition, Steve Rogers and the throwback version is done by Alex Ross here on the 1 in 100 incentive variant for Alex Ross. So this is March 2016. Again, celebrating 75 years of Captain America. This is another anniversary type issue. Pretty cool cover art. I mean, it's Alex Ross. Alex Ross doing Captain America. You can't go wrong there. But with that 1 in 100 incentive, a 54,000 print run gives us about 550 almost incentive copies. Again, best guess number. Not a lot by comparison to the last couple. So let's see what we got in the census. Decent number, because people will get a book like this. I mean, it's a 1 in 100 Alex Ross, so I'm not surprised there's almost 100 copies in the census. 76 9/8s, 7 9/6s, and then a bunch of others rounding out that 98. Almost 100. But like those last few issues, once again, no one is buying these books right now. So no copies sold. But more surprising, well, I thought there would be a couple of these. I thought there'd be a couple available, but I only found one. Only found the one. And it's raw, 12 watchers, $300. So if you want to get it, there's your option. It's a 1 in 100 after all, so it's a high ratio incentive, but there's only the one. So there's your one shot right now on the market. I mean, the eBay market's not the only place you can buy comics. This is just the easiest way for me to do this show, just to give you a sense of availability, because that's still the biggest marketplace, I think, for most to check books is eBay. Yes, you got your whatnots, you got your Macaris, you got your online stores, etc. My comic shop even does auctions, etc. I get it. Plenty of options for you to go buy comics out there, but this is the easiest one for me to kind of cover. But with that, let's move on. Let's move on as we have a few more Cap books to get through for this 4th of July. The first one being Captain America 1. This Ryan, I'm going to get his name wrong. Ryan Meinerding, maybe? 1 in 50 from November 2012. This is the story where Cap goes into, was it Dimension Z? I don't really remember this one all that well. There's some kind of kookiness aside, and Cap, we had a Cap son, and he brought him back. Dimension Z, all kinds of wildness going on here. But pretty awesome cover here on the 1 in 50. It almost looks photorealistic. It's got that kind of like Boss Logic, who's Raphael Grassetti kind of thing going here. But it's Ryan Meinerding on this one. Healthy print run on this book, 123,000 plus on it. So even with our 1 in 50 incentive, there are 2,400 plus copies potentially out there. So a lot of copies. In the census, we do have 48, another healthy number, 39 eights, 13 9/6s, and then a few others. Couple of copies sold within the last 3 months on this one. Best offer on $35, and one of these actually sold with one bid for $2.99. I'm guessing that's probably incorrect, and there probably was a best offer accepted on it, but I didn't want to go digging into it because it's 4th of July. I just want to get back to the family and doing my thing, but I still want to get your show out. So I took a shortcut here. My guess is it didn't actually sell for $3. If you want to dig into it, there are ways you can dig into it. Feel free to go and check them for yourselves. But point being, a couple of copies sold, and I'm pretty sure this is well priced, well under that $50 mark, because even if you wanted to buy one, you have options out there more than the 4 that I have here. And they, yes, are at ratio at $50, but there are plenty at $25, $30, even $20. So half ratio and less, plenty of available copies if you were interested. So just keep that in mind too. Now, this particular book also has higher ratio incentives. So we're going to quickly run through. This is a Joe Quesada cover. Pretty cool. I still feel like they should have moved the trade dress up to that yellow empty spot and not covered up Cap and the Shield. I feel like that was a bad call on the layout department for this cover, but hey, what are you going to do? But this is the 1 in 100. So 1 in 100 for Cap 1, November 2012. Joe Quesada cover. Obviously, I'm sure you can see his art style. Same print run, but this incentive is going to be about 1,200 copies, so it's going to be half the last one because it's a higher ratio incentive. In the census, we still have 33, 21 9/8, 11 9/6s, and a few others. We have a couple of sales on this book at half ratio at $50, and then one that sold, again, one bid at $13.99, but it could potentially have been an offer. Because when people have an auction, and there's also like a buy it now price or a best offer price, the eBay auction will end and show us one bid at whatever the starting bid price is if an offer is accepted. That's how the thing shows. But there are other means and other ways to get that information if you're curious. Even amongst this like Terapeak within eBay, and then there's some outside sites you can use as well. If you're really curious about that, on how you can find out the prices on that stuff, you can direct DM me. I don't want to do it like on a show. It's just like a whole process, but you DM me separately and I'll give you the info of how you can check it for yourself if you're curious. If you want to get that deep into the the research part of it, I'll help you out. I mean, again, I don't have no secrets here. I'm telling you how I do things, so no harm in telling you if you're that curious. But moving on, how many copies are available? We have 4. I can't count. I was about to say 5, but there are 4 available right now, all underneath that 1 in 100 ratio mark at about $50. I mean, 45 to 60, but by and large, right around 50. So we do have another one. We have a sketch version, which again should have moved the trade dress into the empty space on the cover. But what are you going to do? This is a 1 in 150 incentive. Have to make it all complicated. So 1 in 150, same print run, same month, etc. So that makes our incentive about 824 copies if you do that quick ratio math. CGC census on this one has 40 copies, so a few more than the 100, with 21 9/8, 15 9/6s, and then a couple of others. Copies sold, we did have 4 within the last 3 months. 100. Oh wait, I'm sorry, this is the wrong thing. You know what? I don't think there was any sales, and I left this up there by accident. Disregard it. Skipping that part. I don't feel like editing out because again, I gotta get to the grill soon. And with that, what's available? Available copies. More than the 3 I have here. Again, I'm just giving you a quick snapshot. $50. $50 for 1 in 150. And then 150 is another raw option. And then there is a $2,000 CGC 9/8, but it's got a Stan Lee signature on it. So that's, I think, really the driving force behind that high price. So keep that in mind as well. This series is what we're going to finish up with for today. Just do a couple of more books from this, Dimension Z run, and they did have a couple other incentives. We had a 1 in 50 incentive for this issue 3. They didn't do it for issue 2 for whatever reason, but issue 3 they came back with this Alex Maleev Pretty cool. Sad cap sitting there on a, stones, etc. Dimension Z, January 2013. Pretty cool. Print run still pretty high at about 60,000. So the incentive is still a healthy 1,200 thereabouts for a 1 in 50. CGC census has only 8 copies, though. Not a lot in the census for this. 7 9/8 and a 9/6. That's it. One of these is sold in the last 3 months to give you a sense of the price, which is half ratio, $25. $25 for this book. And if you think that was like an outlier sale and this is probably harder to find and more expensive, well, there's more than the 4 copies that I have here. And no, the pricing is right around, look, 15, 20. There's a buy it now. I was looking at these because I'm considering it. But this issue and the next issue we're about to talk about, both of them listed $15 to buy both 1 in 50s for $15. That ain't bad. So I might do it before this show airs. Otherwise, you guys have at it if you beat me to it. I don't need these books, but that price is pretty solid, so I might do it. I don't know. And then $20 for another raw. So 1 in 50, all well below ratio, well below half ratio even for this particular one. And like I said, that one listing has this issue 3 as well as this issue 4 also has a 1 in 50 by Simone Bianchi. Bianchi. I don't know how the proper way to say it is. I was messing it up yesterday, so I'm messing it up again today. 1 in 50, February 2013. Print run is about the same as issue 3, about 53,000. So our incentive is, a little over 1,000, maybe a couple less. In the census, we only have 17, but there are 17 9/8s. So all 9/8s. Interesting. This particular book did not have any sales, though. So no copies sold the last 3 months at all. And available, it came close. It came close because it only had 2. That double listing. So if I had bought this before I did the show, and that's also why I didn't buy it, because if I had bought this before I was doing this deck earlier this morning, then I could have put this into the ghost category, but that would have felt weird, wouldn't have felt right. But we do have 2 right now. $15 for the pair, and then you have a $30 one in the UK, also for a raw copy. So still not a lot, but that's all that's out there on the market for issue 4. And with our final book of the day, we have one more incentive from this Dimension Z run, number 15. Pretty cool Mattina cover. This is 1 in 50 for number 15. This is a Francesco Mattina. He's coming right at you, ready to blast you with that fist. January 2014. I'm sure Zaggy's going to have a comment over that last statement. 33,000 on that print run, so the incentive is only about 668. Definitely a smaller number than what we've seen on the other ones, but in the census, we have 16, so pretty close to the same number as the last, but only 9 9/8s, 4 9/6s, and then a few others. But like the last couple of books, no copies sold. Because again, not a lot of cap sales recently. There's not. I know Cold War is going on right now in the comics, but I guess there's nobody's looking back at these older books right now. So yeah, this is just a window in time. Last 3 months, we would look at this a different time of year. Maybe the story would be different. But right now, no copies sold on this particular one. And if you wanted to buy one, you got 3 shots at it. So this 1 in 50, considering it's a Mattina, does have a little bit of a higher ask. Not much, $60, $100, and then there is a 9/8 that's looking for $444. But that's the market if you're curious on that book. I dig this cover. I would definitely be a buyer if this was one of those ones that was less than half ratio at like $15, $20. I'd probably be buying this one because I think this is a really nice rendition of Cap. But 60 is a bit steep for me. I don't like paying above ratio for unless I'm in love with it or I absolutely need it for my collection, which I do not. So this would be just a impulse buy, which that's just a little much for me. But you do what you want with your own wallets. And with that, that's the show for today. But let's do the rundown of all these books, most of which I gave you a dozen. I gave you a dozen Cap books, but 10 of them, all 10 of these, from 1 in 500s to 1 in 1000s to 1 in 150s to 1 in 50s, even those couple of 1 in 25s. These will just say they're all hard to find because most of them had more than a few copies. Granted, that one, number 4, only had 2. A few of them had 3+. Plenty of copies, though, for most of these books if you are actually looking for them. However, at this moment in time, when I was doing this show, doing this deck on 4th of July, 2023, Sam Wilson Captain America 3 and Sam Wilson Captain America 7 each only had one apiece. So by our standards of what we do with this show, one or none, I'm going to qualify them with the ghost tag just for this week. Again, let me know what you think in the comments section. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. I appreciate any feedback that you got. Congratulations again to Spider Guy Murph for the win. I will get that book out to you as soon as I confirm your address. And we'll be doing more fun stuff like that as we keep going on with all these shows. I got plenty of books that I can give away because I got tons of books I probably need to sell, but it's easier to give them away than to sell them. So, yeah. So we're just going to keep rolling as we've been rolling. Hopefully enjoying the content. Hopefully you're enjoying the channel. If you are, again, keep telling your friends so we can keep growing this thing and making it bigger and better. And with that, I'll be back soon with some more content. All right. Happy 4th of July. Later.